Number 12, Jude Bellingham. Jude Bellingham has rapidly established himself as one of football's brightest young stars. With extraordinary talent, leadership qualities, and performances beyond his years, he has become one of the faces of modern football. But with that attention comes increased scrutiny. During his rise in European football, Bellingham received criticism and disciplinary attention following public comments regarding refereeing decisions after controversial matches. Supporters praised him for speaking honestly. Critics argued that public criticism of officials could undermine confidence in officiating. The incidents never seriously threatened his career. However, they highlighted an important reality of modern football. The bigger the star becomes, the smaller the margin for error. And while Bellingham's controversy centered around comments and criticism, the next player became famous for something entirely different. His actions during major tournaments have divided football fans for years. Number 11, Emiliano Martínez. Few goalkeepers in world football divide opinion, quite like Emiliano Martínez. To Argentine supporters, he is a hero, a World Cup winner, a clutch performer, a player who thrives under pressure. To many opponents, however, Martínez has become one of football's most polarizing personalities. Throughout major international tournaments, he became known for psychological tactics during penalty shootouts and celebrations that critics considered provocative. Supporters viewed it as elite gamesmanship. Opponents viewed it as crossing the line. Regardless of where fans stand, one thing is undeniable. Martínez understands how to get inside his opponents' heads, and in doing so, he has created some of the most memorable and controversial moments of recent international football. But if you thought mind games were controversial, wait until you see how political symbolism unexpectedly became one of the biggest talking points of the 2026 World Cup. Number 10, Mohammad Mohebi. During the 2026 FIFA World Cup, Iranian player Mohammad Mohebi attracted international attention following a goal celebration that some observers interpreted as carrying political significance. What might have otherwise been a routine celebration quickly became the subject of widespread discussion across social media and sports media outlets. Supporters argued that the gesture was being misinterpreted. Critics believed it carried a deeper message. As debate spread, the moment became another example of how football can sometimes intersect with political and cultural discussions far beyond the sport itself. The incident generated headlines around the world and showed just how quickly a single moment can become a global talking point. And interestingly, he wasn't the only player involved in a similar debate. Number 9, Ramin Rezaeian, another Iranian player who found himself at the center of controversy, was Ramin Rezaeian. During the tournament, his symbolic gestures and celebrations generated significant discussion among fans and commentators. As with many politically sensitive issues, interpretations varied dramatically depending on who was watching. Some viewed the gestures as harmless, others believed they carried broader implications. Regardless of interpretation, the controversy once again demonstrated how football often exists at the crossroads of sport, culture, and world events. And while debates over symbolism can generate headlines, the next story involved allegations, family conflict, and an investigation that shocked football fans across the globe. Number 8, Paul Pogba. Paul Pogba's career has been filled with spectacular moments. World Cup glory, major trophies, and flashes of brilliance that few players can match. But one of the most shocking chapters of his life unfolded away from football. In 2022, French authorities investigated an alleged extortion plot involving individuals connected to Pogba, including his brother. The allegations stunned the football world. Suddenly, one of the game's biggest stars found himself at the center of a story that sounded more like a crime thriller than a football headline. As legal proceedings unfolded, fans watched closely as new details emerged. For months, the story dominated conversations surrounding Pogba. Not because of his performances on the pitch, but because of what was happening away from it. The case remains one of the most unusual off-field controversies involving a modern football superstar. And if that story sounded unbelievable, the next controversy sparked debates that continue to divide football fans to this day. Number 7, Mason Greenwood. Few football stories in recent years have generated as much discussion as Mason Greenwood's. In 2022, Greenwood faced serious criminal allegations in England and was suspended by his club while investigations took place. Greenwood denied wrongdoing. In 2023, prosecutors announced that criminal charges had been discontinued after key witnesses withdrew and new material came to light. Legally, the case had reached its conclusion. Publicly, however, the debate was far from over. Discussions surrounding Greenwood's return to professional football continued long after the legal proceedings ended. Supporters and critics remained deeply divided. Even today, the case remains one of the most polarizing topics in modern football. And now, we've entered the top 6. From this point forward, every controversy on this list became international news, including one involving a global superstar whose name dominated headlines for months. Number 6. Neymar has spent much of his career living under one of the brightest spotlights in world sport. Every transfer, every injury, every major moment has attracted enormous media attention. In 2019, he faced a serious allegation of sexual assault made by a Brazilian model. Neymar denied the allegation and maintained that the encounter was consensual. The case rapidly became international news. For a period of time, the story overshadowed football itself, becoming one of the most discussed topics in sports media worldwide. Following an investigation, Brazilian authorities closed the case, citing insufficient evidence to proceed. No criminal conviction resulted from the allegation. Nevertheless, the controversy became one of the most heavily scrutinized periods of Neymar's career. Yet despite the attention surrounding Neymar's case, the next player proved that controversy doesn't always come from legal trouble. Sometimes it comes from challenging the system itself. Number 5. Kylian Mbappé. Kylian Mbappe's controversies have been very different from many others on this list. Rather than criminal investigations or disciplinary action, his disputes often centered around influence, image rights, and player power. Mbappé publicly challenged existing arrangements regarding how player images were used by football authorities. His stance sparked major debate throughout the football world. Many praised him for standing up for athletes' rights and demanding greater control over personal branding. Others argued that the disputes created unnecessary tension within national team structures. Regardless of opinion, the controversy highlighted an important shift in modern football. Today's biggest stars possess influence that extends far beyond the pitch, and few players embody that reality more than Mbappé. But now, we're entering the final 4. These are controversies that generated headlines far beyond football itself. Millions of people who don't even follow the sport heard about these stories. Number 4. Cristiano Ronaldo. Cristiano Ronaldo is widely regarded as one of the greatest footballers in history. Yet few athletes have experienced a media spotlight as intense as his. Every achievement becomes global news. And every controversy does as well. In 2018, renewed attention focused on allegations connected to an incident in Las Vegas dating back years earlier. Ronaldo consistently denied wrongdoing. United States authorities later announced that criminal charges would not be filed. Alongside legal controversies, Ronaldo has also generated headlines through public disagreements with managers, clubs, and teammates during different stages of his career. For better or worse, few players have lived under greater public scrutiny. And if you think that's controversial, the next player became infamous for an incident so bizarre that it remains one of the most unforgettable moments in World Cup history. Number 3. Lionel Messi. Seeing Lionel Messi on a controversy list may surprise some football fans. After all, his reputation as one of the greatest players ever is firmly established. But even Messi faced a major legal controversy. Spanish authorities accused Messi and his father of using offshore companies to avoid paying taxes related to image rights income. The case became one of the biggest legal stories involving a football superstar. Following court proceedings, Messi was convicted of tax fraud in Spain. He received a prison sentence that was later suspended under Spanish law and paid substantial financial penalties. The controversy generated worldwide attention and raised difficult questions about the financial structures surrounding elite athletes. Yet despite the case, Messi's achievements on the pitch ultimately remained the defining part of his legacy. But now, we arrive at a player whose controversies became impossible to ignore. Number 2, Luis Suarez. Luis Suarez is one of the most talented strikers of his generation. But he also built a reputation for incidents that repeatedly shocked the football world. Throughout his career, Suarez received multiple suspensions for biting opponents during professional matches. The most famous incident occurred during the 2014 FIFA World Cup when he bit Italy defender Giorgio Chiellini. The images spread across the world within hours. The moment instantly became one of the most infamous scenes in World Cup history. FIFA responded with a lengthy suspension from football activities. Suarez also faced disciplinary action in a separate racial abuse case involving Patrice Evra. Together, these incidents transformed him into one of the most controversial footballers of the modern era. And now, the player whose controversy generated some of the biggest headlines football has seen in recent years. A story that dramatically altered how many fans viewed his career forever. Number 1, Dani Alves. Even among all the names we've discussed today, this story stands apart. Dani Alves was one of the most decorated footballers in history, a player whose trophy collection placed him among the most successful athletes the sport has ever seen. But in recent years, Alves became the subject of criminal proceedings in Spain related to allegations of sexual assault. The case generated enormous international attention and dominated headlines for months. Court proceedings, appeals, and legal developments kept the story in the public eye long after it first emerged. The controversy sparked intense debate, extensive media coverage, and discussions that extended far beyond football. Regardless of differing opinions surrounding various stages of the legal process, the case had a profound impact on Alves's public image and remains one of the most significant controversies involving a professional footballer in recent years.